Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Here we are midweek, continuing our learning. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzva Haganah Yisrael, for Shalom Chol P'tzvei Yisrael, return of our hostages, L'Kuras Yisrael. Bit of a false alarm yesterday, unfortunately. Remains that we return are not those of our hostages. We have to keep davening. We learn each day Nishmat and Davening Shemoneh Esreh. And the next chapter we have is in line with what we were discussing yesterday, and this is Asur La'avor Keneged HaMispalel. Asur La'avor L'fnei HaMispalel B'zoch Arba Amos. If someone is davening Shemoneh Esreh, you cannot walk in front, pass in front of someone within 4 amos. Because you can disturb his concentration if you cross in front of him while he's saying Shemoneh Esreh. V'yesh omrim, and others say, Shatam ha'isar mnei shemispalel omer l'fnei hashchina va'over l'fnei pogeh b'chvod hashchina. So imagine that somebody's in sort of a zone, and right in front of that person is you're standing in front of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, and if you cross within that zone, then you are interfering with the Shekhinah, so to speak. A lengthy note here as well. One should look at note 16, which actually continues over to the next page about disturbing someone and entering the area of the Shekhinah. And here we have an interesting machlokus, is where is there the prohibition extend to cross in front of someone? According to Eli Rabba, it's only directly in front of the person davening. Because if you cross directly in front of him, that disturbs his tefillah. Kolomar, so take the width of a person, okay, and then, so let's say a person is a half a meter. Again, here we go with the metric system again. But just take the width of you, and if you would create some sort of zone that extends 2 meters out, again, that's dalet amos, so 4 to 6 feet directly in front of you. Let's say if you would have your arms by your side, and then you would extend them out and have an imaginary line, only that area, and actually here in this sefer there are interesting diagrams to illustrate this, but that's directly in front of you. So in other words, 4 feet to your left or 4 feet to your right, even though it's within dalet amos, would not be part of the prohibition, just directly in front of your face. However, the Magen Avram says, anywhere that the person davening can see you within 4 amos in a reasonable way, that is considered the designated airspace, so to speak, that is prohibited. Because therefore, you can disturb someone if you're in his line of vision. And here the picture says, so imagine you have, let's say, your arms were spread, not by your side, but your arms were spread out. And you have, he draws a bit of a semicircle, and that whole shetach, that whole area from drawing a semicircle from your left arm, let's say, and the semicircle then extends out in front of you, dalet amos, and continues to extend around you to your right arm. So that whole semicircle, that wingspan, that whole area would be prohibited to walk in front of someone. And they also dispute the fact that according to the Eli Rabba, a person could come and stand in front of someone who is davening Shemoneh Esreh and to remain there. It's only when you're outside of his Arba Amos and then you come in that you disturb his davening. But if you come from the side, that's not so problem. So according to the Magen Avram, you can't come in anyway. So, in other words, according to the Eli Rabba, since we're looking at only the direct 1.5 meters of 2 meters of your width, and directly in front of you, so someone can come and stand on the side. However, according to the Magen Avram, you can't even enter from the side at all. So again, here's 2 more illustrations here. So the bottom line is, though, is that one shouldn't walk in front of anybody. We're going to see next time, actually, there's a chapter dedicated to Halacha L'Maisa, exactly what you're supposed to do and how we should follow. But just to get this idea that there's this sort of airspace in front of you, different opinions. And you don't want to disturb someone who is saying Shemoneh Esreh. So we thank you for joining us today. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzva Haganah Yisrael, for Shalom Chol P'tzvei Yisrael, return of our hostages, L'Kuras Yisrael, Nishmat Thank you so much for learning with us this week. See you next time. Have a great day.